not a bounty hunter. I've heard otherwise. I know that you sit on the throne of your former employer. Jabba ruled with fear. I intend to rule with respect.
You were all once captains under Jabba the Hutt.
I'm here to make a proposal that's mutually beneficial. Why speak of conflict when cooperation can make us all rich?
What prevents us all from killing you and taking what we want?
If you had spoken such insolence to Jabba, he'd have fed you to his menagerie.
Please. Speak freely.
As you guys all just saw, we got the first official trailer for the Book of Boba Fett premiering and streaming on Disney Plus on December 29th. The trailer is actually relatively short and doesn't reveal a lot of the plot for the Book of Boba Fett. However, we can piece some really interesting stuff together. To me, the trailer was very much reminiscent of the first Mandalorian trailer that we got for Season 1, not revealing a lot of the show or a lot of the major action sequences even, but just sort of showing us the tone that they're going for, with the Book of Boba Fett very much continuing on with the Western vibe that we got from the Mandalorian Season 1. And that was a little bit lost in Season 2, the Book of Boba Fett seems to be revamping that. The creators behind the Book of Boba Fett, Robert Rodriguez and Jon Favreau, have even stated that fans should sort of look at the Book of Boba Fett as Season 2.5 of The Mandalorian, and is very much a continuation of sections of that story, with Din Djarin himself, the Mandalorian, even rumored to make an appearance in the latter half of the season for the Book of Boba Fett. In terms of the plot that we can break down, and reports that we've heard previously, we can kind of understand what Boba Fett's motivation is here, and how simply just walking into Jabba's palace and taking the throne at the end of the second season of The Mandalorian was not enough, and that Boba has a wider, overarching plan and goal for the planet of Tatooine. But not just the planet of Tatooine, the gritty underworld specifically. The series itself will sort of serve as a redemption arc for Boba Fett, a redemption arc that began in the second season of The Mandalorian. This was signified in the second season of The Mandalorian when Boba Fett decided to repaint his armor, with the filmmakers explaining that Boba Fett was sort of going through a transformation, looking more inward and deciding to choose the correct path for one of the first times in his life, turning his back utterly against the Empire, and ultimately deciding to help his fellow Mandalorian Din Djarin reclaim baby Grogu from the grasp of Moff Gideon. Robert Rodriguez explained that Boba Fett had gone through some sort of transformation where he was no longer motivated by money. Don't make any mistakes though, this Boba Fett is still very much brutal and is motivated by power, but motivated by power for different reasons than the likes of Jabba. Boba right now doesn't desire power for power's sake, he instead wants to take over Jabba the Hutt's kingdom, but live as a more benevolent leader. Make no mistake though, Boba Fett is very much a crime kingpin in the Book of Boba Fett, even if he may serve to be a more understandable one than the previous leader. It appears as if the Book of Boba Fett will have a lot more political maneuvering than I originally anticipated, with the other gangs and crime organizations of Tatooine having big problems with Boba taking over Jabba's palace, with Boba taking over Jabba's palace by killing Bib Fortuna, with Bib Fortuna being the one who proclaimed himself the new leader of Jabba's palace and crime organization after Jabba was killed by Leia in Return of the Jedi. It appears as if the majority of the Book of Boba Fett will take place on Tatooine, which makes a lot of sense, as it's a very Tatooine-centric story, covering the events of what looks like Mos Eisley and the crime organizations that are beginning to take a hold of it after the Empire has crumbled. We know that following the destruction of the Empire, a lot of the crime lords moved on a lot of the smaller cities on Mos Eisley, as well as the bigger city itself, seeing as the controlling Southern Force was left vacant, and many of the crime organizations perceived this as their chance to strike. If you want to look at it like this, the Book of Boba Fett apparently will follow Boba Fett as he sort of campaigns to be the new leader of all of Mos Eisley and all of its surrounding area, taking from other crime lords what he ultimately took from Bib Fortuna, living up to his heritage of the Mandalorian and repainting his armor as we saw in the second season. We see he'll come into contact with some major crime organizations over the course of the series, as well as, I assume, barter with them and try to get them under his stead, or have to fight them off. In terms of fun Easter eggs that we spotted in the Book of Boba Fett trailer, we have the return of the VT-16 droid that we saw all the way back in Return of the Jedi, and is one of the most interesting droids in Star Wars canon in my opinion, as well as one of the more disturbing ones. What you see at the bottom is actually a brain, as a fanatical religious organization believed that they could achieve true enlightenment by having their brains surgically removed and placed into these spider droid bodies, with some of them serving as sort of priests and advisors for Jabba the Hutt, at least in Legends continuity. Here though, it doesn't appear as if it will fulfill that role, only having a brief cameo. What's cool about this trailer also, guys, is this will likely very much not be the last footage that we will get for the Book of Boba Fett, as we'll likely get a second trailer or maybe even a clip on Disney Plus Day. But Disney wanted to get ahead of it with the marketing of the Book of Boba Fett and let fans know that it is in fact out there and is in fact coming this December. Disney Plus Day is coming November 12th for those of you that are interested, where again we'll likely be getting more footage for the Book of Boba Fett. Anyway, my friends, what did you think of the first trailer for the Book of Boba Fett, and did it live up to your various expectations? Do you like this transformation that Boba Fett appears to have undergone, and the change in the character, transitioning from a bounty hunter to a crime lord? Do you think that this is the way that Boba Fett's story would have continued? And what are you hoping to see in the Book of Boba Fett when it finally releases on December 29th? As always, my friends, thank you so much for watching the channel. May the Force be with you, and I hope to see you in the next video.